Close your eyes and imagine a world where tranquility and wellness are just a breath away. Welcome to our sanctuary of relaxation and rejuvenation. Elevate your yoga experience with our premium yoga clothing. Crafted from the finest materials, our attire provides the perfect balance of comfort and style, allowing you to move with grace and confidence. We have everything you need to enhance your wellness journey. Visit us at zoso.shop. Your journey awaits. Namaste.
Hello, welcome. I'm going to be doing a sequence today for strength and flexibility, and this is for women who are in their second trimester of pregnancy. The one thing that you will need is a block. If you don't have a block, you can also use, you can get creative. You can even use a folded up towel or anything like that. Go ahead and grab what you need, and let's go ahead and get started. If you don't have time to watch this video right now, go ahead and save to your watch later and just do it whenever you get a chance. All right, so to get started, go ahead and grab your block or your folded up towel, whatever you have, and we're gonna start in Tadasana. So go ahead and separate your feet as wide as you need to, and you can just slide that block right in between your thighs, close to your pelvic floor. And you want to make sure that you're holding on to your prop tightly so you can really squeeze with your inner thighs. And I'd like you to go ahead and just rock back and forth a little bit and start to feel your weight evenly ground through 3 points in your foot. So below the big toe, below the little toe, and center of the heel. I'm going to talk about the tripod of the foot quite a bit. So just remember those 3 points. And rooting down, I'd like you to just start squeezing that prop by tucking your tailbone in and pressing your thighs back. And what this is going to do, you're scooping your pelvis, you're engaging your core muscles in a really healthy way here. And I'd like you to just start relaxing those shoulders. Go ahead and you can shake out your arms a little bit. Just let your arms be soft and rolling the shoulders back. So just tucking the tailbone in and rooting down through the tripods of the feet and really lengthening through the crown of the head without straining. And go ahead and take a few breaths here. So rooting down and growing up all at the same time, and not allowing there to be slack. So really feeling your inner thighs engage as you scoop the tailbone in. And a few more breaths here. So tucking the tailbone in, really getting familiar with just a healthy way to engage the abdominal muscles. It can be kind of tricky to relearn that when you're pregnant because you have to do it in a unique kind of way. So a few more breaths here. You can close your eyes if you want. And just really feeling rooted through your feet and open through the chest, rolling those shoulders back without overarching the low back. And go ahead and release. And as we practice today, I'd like you guys to keep that just mindfulness of not overarching the low back. It's something that as we progress in our pregnancy, it becomes harder and harder to not have that sway back. And it's so incredibly healthy to just develop healthy habits with the pelvis and the abdominal muscles. So we'll get more into that. So go ahead and separate your feet a little bit wider than hip distance if you're somebody that kind of struggles with balance. Starting in the second trimester, our center of gravity starts to shift a little bit. And so balancing poses become kind of, they're just different. So just make sure you feel stable. And we're going to do Tadasana with some heel lifts. So feet at least hip distance apart. And making sure that your tailbone is pressing in, your pelvis is scooping forward. And nice and slow, go ahead and just lift onto the balls of your feet. And this engages the lower abdominals in such a healthy way. And go ahead and release. And it also forces you to engage your pelvis in a really healthy way. We're going to do this about 6 times and hold at the top. Release. And just nice and slow, no hurries. And at the top, really being aware of your lower abdominals. And release. release, and just let your face relax. Notice if you're straining. Just a few more here. Holding at the top, and let's go ahead and do 2 more. And engaging those abdominals, especially at the top of that movement. Release, and 1 more time. And let's go ahead and hold this last time if you can. Tucking the tailbone in, relaxing the shoulders, just like when we started, and go ahead and release. And go ahead and bring your, if your feet are wider than hip distance, go ahead and bring them in a little bit. We're at the point in our pregnancy where any forward fold, any sort of balancing pose, I would encourage you to have a really solid base and wide legs always, so that you have room. You're never putting pressure, an exaggerated amount of pressure on your abdomen. So you really just listen to your body. And we're going to do a nice forward fold here. Go ahead and hinging at the hips. Just let your spine be long, and you can slide your hands down your legs, grabbing hold of the calves or any part of the leg that feels good. And if you're feeling any discomfort in your abdomen, go ahead and lengthen through your spine. You can get a nice deep stretch without collapsing through your shoulders and putting pressure on the tummy. And you don't have to worry about putting a little bit of pressure, just so long as it doesn't hurt. You can let your head hang. And let's take about 3 breaths here. Rooting down through the tripods of the feet and really anchoring through the heels. And just breathing into those hamstrings and calves. Just sinking, relaxing further into the stretch, and pressing through the feet, strong thighs to come out. So as we progress in our pregnancy, we're going to become more flexible, and I would say it's really important in your practice to balance flexibility with strength, especially in the 2nd and 3rd trimester. So with that said, let's go ahead and bring the feet together. So Tadasana, this is a fantastic, safe way to work the abdominal muscles. In our 2nd trimester, you never want to do crunches or anything that, leg lifts. That's not really okay in the 2nd trimester. So here's something that's really great. So Tadasana, for balance, feeling really solid through our feet, rooting down through the feet, scooping the pelvis, and I'd like you to just transfer your weight to your left foot, and again, just move slowly with this. If you're struggling with balance, you can always bring your arms to the sides. That helps a lot, or just find a position with your hands that feels good, and go ahead and just transfer your weight. So we're already working the little stabilizing muscles in our leg and our abdomen, and tucking the tailbone in, and go ahead and just lift that leg, that knee, to a 90-degree angle if you can. And this is just a fantastic way to build strength. It's very simple, but very effective. Rooting down through that foot, tucking the tailbone in. You can release the arms if you want a little bit more of a challenge. And take about 2 breaths here. You're going to feel this in your thigh and your core. Go ahead and release. And opposite side, transferring the weight to the right side. And I'd encourage you to move as slowly as you need to feel nice and solid before you move any further. So even here, it's just a great, you're engaging the core in a really healthy way. You can start to lift that knee and tucking the tailbone in, not overarching that low back. You can release the arms if you want. Let's go ahead and take about 3 breaths here. And rooting down through that foot, relaxing the shoulders, lengthening through the crown of the head, and breathing. And 1 more breath here. And release. And go ahead and separate your feet at least hip distance apart, and one more forward fold here. So go ahead, and if you'd like a little more, go ahead and interlace your fingers behind you, and you can just open up that chest, tucking the tailbone in. Really listen to your body here. You don't want to overstretch these abdominal muscles. So focusing on opening up the shoulders more than anything. Go ahead and open, and you can hinge forward, or you can do a traditional forward fold without the hands clasped. And rooting down through the feet, thighs are engaged. Spending a good 20 seconds here, just breathing into the hamstrings and the calves. Nice deep stretch. Now 10 more seconds. If you get distracted, just letting your breath anchor you. Rooting down through your feet. And to come out, pressing through the feet, strong thighs. Go ahead and release your hands. And coming into Malasana, go ahead and bring your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. And you want to pigeon toe your feet out a fair amount. And just be careful as you go down not to bring your knees too far past your toes. So see if you can just bring your butt down first. It helps. And coming down, letting the heels pop up. And so we're doing Malasana that is really great for opening up the hips. This is actually really good for preparing for labor as well. So if your balance feels good, just first let's all kind of keep our hands on the floor, and it helps with balance. Stretching the Achilles heel and allowing those hips to open. If you'd like a little more, you can just bring your hands into prayer position. So in Malasana, your elbows are usually further down, but you want to create plenty of space for your abdomen. So you can actually just rest your elbows on top of your knees. And so nice long spine, plenty of room for the belly, and really sinking down through the hips. You might notice one hip feels tighter or higher. And about 3 more breaths here. And just relax your jaw, relax your face. And as gracefully as possible, go ahead and come to a seated position. Coming right into butterfly or Baddha Konasana. This is one of the best poses that you can do as well to prepare for delivery down the road. So go ahead and root down through your sit bones and lengthen through the spine. You can grab hold of your ankles or any part of your leg. And if your knees are up, it's all the same work. Allowing those groins to release through the knees. And go ahead and lengthen forward from your tailbone. So let go of any gripping, especially in your abdomen. Just let your abdomen feel soft. And the hips can be a little bit stubborn, so just giving those groins and hips plenty of time to respond. And notice if you're cranking your neck, and go ahead and just tuck your chin in. So lengthening the spine through the crown of the head, feeling a softness in the neck, and really tuning in. Sometimes it can help to close your eyes and scanning from right to left, and just taking a few deeper breaths, not straining the abdomen as we breathe though. And let's take about 10 more seconds here and see if you can come forward a little bit more, not collapsing through the shoulders, but just lengthening from the tailbone through the crown of the head, allowing the groins to release. And go ahead and release. And you can just bring your knees up. Okay, coming right into child's pose. So go ahead and come to the back edge of your mat and big toes. Leave about 3 inches. So as we progress in our pregnancy, creating wider spaces for our stomach to fit is really important. So nice wide knees. And I like to start with space in between my toes. It helps. And go ahead and just rest your head. And don't worry about pressure that you feel on your abdomen. If it hurts, then that's another story. Please sit up. But it shouldn't. It should feel good. Child's pose. This is, one of the best poses for second trimester. It takes a great deal of pressure off of the low back. It opens up the hips all at the same time. It's also really good for just calming down the nervous system and deepening in that stretch for spine. Go ahead and walk the hands forward and just pressing through the palms. Spread your fingers wide and just breathing into your low back and your hips. Your tailbone is elevated, not trying to force the tailbone down. So just allowing your hips to fall as they're ready. And let's come on up. All right, so coming right into downward facing dog, go ahead and tuck your toes under, pressing the thighs back, and just spread your fingers nice and wide. Downward facing dog, another fabulous pose for second trimester. If you only have 5 minutes, say doing child's pose and dog is awesome. And just allowing your heels to fall towards the floor, drawing the shoulder blades in. And coming into plank, you might need to walk your hands forward slightly. You can drop your knees if you're not used to doing this. Go ahead and start there unless you are familiar with plank. So drawing the thighs back, tucking the tailbone in, just like in Tadasana. And take about 2 or 3 breaths. Strong core here, strong arms. And downward facing dog, go ahead and press back, keeping that distance. It might feel a little bit longer. Take a few breaths. And plank. So just like a dancer, moving really gracefully. You can do full plank if you're ready, not allowing the hips to sag if you're in full plank. So pressing the thighs back, tailbone in. 1 more breath. And pressing back into dog, really engaging your arms as you press back. 2 breaths. And 1 last plank. Go ahead and come into full plank or supported plank with the knees down. And most important thing here, drawing the thighs back, tucking the tailbone in, really engaging the abdominals in a healthy way. 1 more breath. And pressing back into dog. You can walk your feet forward a little bit, allowing those calves and hamstrings to stretch a little more as you let the heels fall. 3 more breaths at your own pace, just enjoying that space in your spine. Nice, healthy, activated core. And child's pose. Go ahead and bring your toes closer together, knees wide apart, and just let your head rest. And since we can't do Shavasana at this point in our pregnancy, just allowing this to be our Shavasana space. Just taking a few uncontrolled breaths, feeling thankful for our practice and everything that it gives us. And that is all for today, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, you can check out our app. It's called Yoga Plus, and there's some really great content on there. I look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome to Yoga Plus. Courses available from pupil to yogi. Sort by yoga, fitness, and instructors. Create your own routines. Access the Pose Library. Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth, available on Google Play and the App Store.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.